Do you have a mentor? Are you a mentor? Mentorship is one of the most important things to really accelerate your growth. A lot of us like to do everything ourselves, especially me. I'm a very independent person. I don't like to be told what to do. I think I know more than everybody else, but that's not true at all. That's just my own insecurity. What I do know is that there are people that know more than me about almost everything. There's very little that I'm really knowledgeable about. And even the things that I'm really knowledgeable about, there's people that know more about me in those things. I'm a pretty good periodontist. I've been doing it for 40 years, about 40 hours a week times 40 years. It's thousands of hours of doing it. I'm past the 1,000-hour rule that Malcolm Gladwell talks about. So I'm pretty competent at being a periodontist, but there are periodontists that know how to do things that I don't know how to do. Maybe they'll do a different technique with connective tissue grafting or a different suturing technique or a different bone graft. So I'm constantly looking for people to teach me more. Early in my career, I found a number of mentors. Probably my first mentor was Abe Schuster, my periodontist that I was trained with at Emory. He taught me a lot, and Ralph Gray and Colin Richmond and Tom Van Dyke. And these are all the people that really taught me when I was a resident. And I listened to everything that they had to say, and I took it all in, and I tried to work with it. Now, being mentored doesn't mean that you do everything your mentor says. It means you try it on. You see if it works. Does it work in your hands? Because there are three ways really to learn. You can read about it, that's the literature or books or things like that. You get your own experience, or you can learn from other people's experience. But the thing is, you really can't learn from other people's experience. The only way you can really learn is your own experience. John Steinbeck, and I paraphrase, says that the door to people's experience is locked shut. What does that mean? It means that somebody else's experience, they can't transfer that experience to you. They can give you an insight that could help you become better at what you do, but they can't teach you everything. So in my life, I've had many mentors, both in hospitality, like Danny Meyer or Bobby Stuckey from Frasca out in Colorado. I have Peter Diamandis, the brilliant man from California, MIT trained and Harvard trained, a physician, a spaceman, X Prize. He runs Abundant 360. He's taught me a lot about technology and about being the gift and doing things on a huge level. Dan Sullivan has taught me a lot about entrepreneurial leadership. So I've learned a lot. Carrie Oberrenner has helped me in terms of publishing and getting the message out there. I've worked with so many people in my life that have made me better. And every year I have one or two new mentors that come along. Almost every one of my mentors has said the same thing. Once you learn this, give it back and teach others. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story about one of my true mentors, a guy named Dr. P.D. Miller. P.D. Miller is a periodontist. He's called the father of periodontal plastic surgery. I remember when I first met him. It was back in the late 80s. I was a young periodontist. I got out of my residency in 83, and P.D. Miller was like a god to me. So maybe 1989, 1990. And we're sitting at the Pierre Hotel at the Northeast Society of Periodontists meeting. And he was passing around Polaroid pictures of gingival grafts, free gingival grafts, which I just published a few weeks ago. Funny. I showed a 5-year follow-up of the technique that I learned from P.D. Miller. Well, P.D.'s showing these pictures, and I feel like I'm sitting with greatness here. I'm right close to like a god of periodontics. And I got to know P.D. over a number of years, and he's retired, and he's in his mid-80s, but he's still a mentor to me. And about 10, 15 years ago, I was giving a lecture at the the International Society of Periodontal Plastic Surgeons with Peter Nordland. And after my lecture, P.D. Miller came up to me and goes, "I liked your lecture." I go, "Thank you." He goes, "You ought to write that up." I said, "Okay, I will." And the last thing I wanted to do was write up that lecture and get that published because, that's about 40 hours of work. So about 2 or 3 months passes. And I'm 60 at the time, and P.D. Miller's probably 80. And it's a Sunday morning, and I get a phone call at home, sitting in this room where I'm talking right now. And P.D. Miller calls me and says, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" I go, "Good." He goes, "How's the article coming?" I go, "I haven't started it yet." He said, "Well, when are you going to get it done?" I said, "Well, I'll get it done." He goes, "Well, that's not good enough. I want a commitment." I said, "Okay, I commit to getting it done." He goes, "That's not good enough." He says, "Here's what I want you to do. I want you to say, Dr. Miller, I, Michael Sonic, commit to getting this article done by," and give me a date. And so Sunday morning, I'm 60, he's 80. I mean, talk about a commitment. Talk about a commitment to mentorship. An 80-year-old man is calling a 60-year-old man telling him to get an article written. And I turned to PD and I said, "PD, I'll get this article written in 2 months." And I commit to that. 2 months later, I wrote the article, and it was published a few months after that. I would not have gotten that article written so timely if P.D. Miller, at the age of 80, did not call me up and say, will you commit to doing that? What did I learn from that? Well, I learned a couple of things. One, my respect for P.D. went way up. It was already pretty high, but it went up even higher. Because at age 80, sitting in Tennessee, am I going to be calling somebody a few states away saying to write this article? Will I be doing that in a few years? I don't know. I hope so. I thought that was pretty cool. The second thing I learned was the importance of making someone commit. So what do? How do I use that in my practice? I use the commitment. Today, for every new patient that comes into my office, I mentor my patients. I tell them, if you want me to treat you, you have to commit to getting your teeth cleaned every 3 to 4 months after treatment, else my treatment's not going to work. And I give them the same commitment speech that P.D. Miller gave to me. Will you commit to get your teeth cleaned every 3 months? Otherwise, let's not go through with periodontal care because it doesn't work. That's a subject for another day. But what's really important is the importance that P.D. Miller emphasized of committing and of doing it, and of still committing to people who are still in practice. He's not in practice anymore. He's not on the university faculty. But he's still committed to doing the right thing. He's been an unbelievable mentor to me, as all the other people I've mentioned before. And hopefully I'll be a good mentor to other people as well. Matter of fact, it's my passion. Helping others achieve their greatness is what I love to do. Because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the great people before me. And the people that are still in my life today. You know, I used to be a martial artist. I haven't done martial arts in 20 years. I just went back to the gym. I have a 42-year-old Korean gentleman who's a 5th-degree black belt. He's my new mentor. I was supposed to be in the gym today to see him at 8:30 this morning, and I wasn't feeling well last night, so I texted him at 2 in the morning. I said, I'm not going to make it today. Can I reschedule next week? And at 2:05, he said, okay. So what was he doing at 2 in the morning? He's committed to doing something, I'm sure. So there's a lot of great people out there, and I love communicating with people who still have that passion for doing the greatest things possible, and that's helping others. So if you don't have mentorship out there, go get it. Talk to people. Get off Instagram. Get off YouTube, which we're on right now. Talk to people in person. They will be overjoyed. A lot of people don't call me because they think I'm too busy. Busy people want to be bothered. I have the phone numbers of every busy person in my life, and I can call them at any time. It's great to be able to connect with people that are going to make you better. And people that want to make other people better are never bothered because it's what they love to do. The John Coyces of the world, okay, the Frank Spears, all the greats out there love to help others. So, if you're not out there getting mentored, go get mentored. If you're not mentoring other people, try it. People love to be mentored. People love to be helped. Remember, be the gift, everybody.